Welcome back. This is part 4 of Let's Play Nier Automata. Last time, I don't even know what we did. Alright, to be honest, so when I started recording this Let's Play, I was like, yo, let's play Nier Automata because it's hella fun and it's kinda long and it'll give me something to do all the time. But then, I realized that because the game is so long, I play it in bursts. So I recorded these first 3 episodes like 2 weeks ago. And because I'm doing 1 episode a week, like every Saturday, I actually don't remember what we did. I know episode 2 is side questing. I can't remember episode 3. Oh, but episode 4, this is what we're doing. We're going to the factory. We're going to head back to the factory and continue on with the story missions. First, we're going to the factory. That's because we got that email I showed you. And it was, what was it? It was the commander. Like the commander lady. And she was like, yo, your weaponry is back at the factory, so go get it. So we're headed back there. That'll be interesting. There's nothing else we do here, though, I don't think. But it's kind of weird. I'm contemplating, and I really mean this, I'm contemplating cutting out all the other, like all the traveling and stuff. But I'm also not sure. I'm still kind of unsure of what kind of side missions I want to do. Because side missions are good for... Let me turn this down. Jesus Christ. Side missions are good because they give you different, like, components to upgrade your weapons. And they give you money. And they give you... You might even get some weapons from there. But at the same time, you also can get, like, chips, plug-in chips, and things like that. But at the same time, a lot of that stuff can be purchased, and I'm not sure what is exclusive and what isn't, so, you know, go figure. But I'll try to do some side quests, or I might even, like, start the side quests, and then just show me finishing the side quests, because I don't really see a need to, like, if it's a fetch quest per se, I don't really, I'll show you, like, oh, this is where you get the item, and then be like, alright, that's it. Because every side quest, unless it's like some area that's so needlessly convoluted to get to, it's like you just go back to the area that they tell you to go to and then you pick up the stuff. Like this, it was like go back to the factory and you see in the bottom right hand corner we're getting all of these items that we lost when we died, basically. So, you know, it's interesting, but this game, I play it more for the story and not so much for, like, the 100%ing, oh, let's get every item, let's get every weapon, let's get the best equipment, because at the end of the day, it's not that difficult of a game, at least on normal mode, which is, I think, what I'm going to stick with, because I'm thinking to myself, if I don't sit there and over-grind, then the game should get a little bit tougher, and, I mean, I think in this episode, or if not this one, the next one, we should get close to dying, so it should stay interesting. It's not like I'm going to run through every single boss. But, I'm like, I don't have the time, just personally, to sit here and grind in this game. Just so that it can be like, oh, let me show off every little bit. So I figure I'll just, like, play the game as I normally would. Show off stuff as I show it off. And, see what happens from there. Nier needs to join. I did again. 2B needs to join the track team. Likes hopping over things. The other thing is, at this point in the game, the world is kind of boring because it's so early into it. And as we progress, the world will change a little bit. So, the more we see things change, the more likely it is that, like, I won't just cut stuff out because it'll be different. Like, it's not different in terms of, like, oh, the setting completely shifts. But it is different in terms of the things that are available and things you can see and whatnot. So I feel like it's a tradition for me now to kill that guy every single time I run past him. And this is when we unlock side quests. Side quests are quite... Well, I've been talking about them. I guess... Well, we did side quests before. I don't know why they show you that now. But, yeah, we did side quests before. And here we go. I'm going to upgrade a weapon, I believe. I'm going to upgrade Virtuous Contract or Treaty. Probably... No, okay, I guess we're doing that one. I don't know why I didn't do Virtuous Treaty. Probably because Virtuous Treaty, although it would be stronger, I prefer light swords to heavy swords or heavy weapons because you get more attacks. And I like being able to spam attacks. compared to when you have heavy weapons, you get like 3-hit combos or whatever, and it's way more difficult to, well, it's not difficult to string them together, but it is more more taxing, because it's like, oh, I have to manage when these 3 hits are going to hit. But what we have here, Anemone, she gave us a sleep room, like a room we can sleep in, a bedroom, so to speak, which I find kind of interesting because you don't really need it. Like, from a story standpoint, it makes sense, like, oh, look, it's a gesture of goodwill for helping us, but realistically, we don't really need to sleep here. Like, we could always go back to the bunker, and it's not like you need to sleep to save. Maybe it heals you, I don't know, because later in the game we'll get like an ability that lets us auto heal, so I don't really even know if like you need to rest to save. But I think here I was trying to enact the next sequence of events, and so what this game doesn't really tell you is when you have moments where there's no missions on the map, a lot of times you just have to leave the area, which is like, that's basically what happens in every good RPG or, you know, story-based game. You might have to leave the area to get that next cutscene, but I completely forgot, and that's why I'm checking the inbox here, like, okay, there's no mails, there's nothing in that room, nobody here has a side quest, and I'm like, alright, let's leave, and that's generally how you can progress the story. But it's weird because sometimes, a lot of times people will, and we'll see that in episode 5, you'll get these broadcasts regardless of where you are. It just so happens that the resistance camp, you don't get the chance to, get them in the resistance camp, so it kind of screws you over. Okay, and this is the next mission. We're basically asked to go track down these other Yora units that, their black box signals are still active. Why am I running around the tree? I don't know. Killing time. So here we have to go to the next target location. And I think, yeah, okay, so this is the map. That's the current destination. Again, the map, it's interesting. It's not terrible. I want to say you can get upgrades for it so it's more detailed, but at the end of the day, the world is so, like, okay, I don't like the 3D map per se, but the mini-map is pretty useful, because as you get closer to a destination, you know that the dark spots are raised, elevated, like, areas, so a lot of times they're like mountains or buildings or something, and the lighter spots are where you can walk. So I don't really have a problem with it, because it's pretty easy to figure out where you need to go, but, you know, to each their own. It's one of the underlying concepts of the game, wondering why machines would try to kind of recreate themselves in the vein of humans, which they're seeking to kill. Kind of an interesting concept. I wonder if the audio is going to sound really weird this part though, because my air conditioner is on and it's super loud, and it's annoying because I don't want to leave it on, but I feel like I have to because it will get incredibly hot in here, and I don't need that right now. Oh, I was showing off the flashlight, and it has like real-time shadows. Like, it actually has shadows. It actually works like a flashlight. This is our next area, or at least the start of the next area. I love how you have the reddish hues in the background from like the smoke, the fog, if you will. And I think I was looking for an item, but if there is an item here, it's not till later in the game. So, you know. And what is that in the upper right hand corner of your screen? It is an amusement park. Which, when I first got to this area, I was so creeped out. I was incredibly creeped out. Look, it's Disney World. I mean, I never even noticed the building has the heart right in the middle of it. Like, they carved out part of the building when they were building it. That's really cool. So basically these machines have taken over. Well, I don't know, because I'd like to think this was made by humans, but there's a statue of a machine in the middle. So I would think that the machines made that because the humans wouldn't have made that. So I don't really understand all of the I don't understand how this ended up like this, because I would assume that this was made for humans and by humans, because the machines would have no need to create a fully functioning amusement park. And the fact that it's burnt out would lead me to believe that the machines didn't make it, because why would they make an amusement park and then destroy it? Unless the machines at one point were working for the humans, in which case the machines were employed by the humans to build the park, and then when the machines took over, they destroyed the park, and then they adapted to become like humans, and now they're in the park having fun even though it's run down. Sure, let's go with that. But I will say, as far as the story is concerned, I'm playing this game because I enjoy the gameplay. I'm playing this game because I enjoy watching and sharing it, but I'm gonna probably misstep on a lot of the story concepts here. I've looked up a lot of them, and surprisingly, a lot of the wikis are kind of bare. Like, they have the major plot themes and things like that, but a lot of the little extra parts, there's like this data log basically you'll get in the game, similar to Final Fantasy 13, where instead of having how much time are we in? Oh wow, we still have like 15 minutes. Okay. In addition to having like the story as it's given to you by the different characters, you get this listing of materials, but it's not till really late in the game that kind of gives you more backstory. So until we get those pieces of information, I'm kind of just piecing the story together. I will say I think that's how, I don't know what this flower is, by the way. I don't understand that. But I'm assuming that's how they intended the game to feel, because 2B is more a vessel for the character than a lot of characters are. So she's given orders, and she's going about her duties the way that she thinks that she should be, presumably because of the orders she's given. And I think the player just kind of follows along with that, like, oh yeah, that's how I should do things, when we'll find out later what's really going on. So most of these materials aren't very useful. I think that earrings will come in handy, but you can't make those. Like, you have to actually get them. So the shattered earrings, a lot of them is like your trash loot, so to speak. You can sell it, you can use it to upgrade items or what have you, but it's not really that important because you can always get more of them. But a lot of times, if you have something that's intact and it's not, dilapidated, hang on to it for a second to see if you can put it to any use. I will say, I think we might come in contact with it. It's a desert rose. That's an item that when I first got it, I was like, oh, junk, let's sell it. And because I looked at the price and it was like 50,000 gil or whatever. And then I'm like, well, no, wait a second. Everything else in this game is broken, so let's not sell it. Come to find out you need it for a side quest. So keep that in mind. This is a neat little part, though. You get to jump on the broken cars of the amusement park, which I think is neat. I mean, platforming. It's weird because this game doesn't have a lot of platforming, but for what it does have, it clearly isn't supposed to play like a platformer, and that's fine. The controls are kind of too loose almost for platforming, but I do like it because it's something different, It's just a different, And yes, I decide to kill this fool. What I didn't mention, in the amusement park, because all these machines have resigned themselves to living good lives or what have you, they don't actually fight you. They completely... they'll talk to you, but they absolutely won't fight you. And the first time I came here, I thought that they were firing at me, but really it was just like the confetti and stuff. So I started killing them, and they're like, why are you killing us? So, this is amusement park Goliath tank. I don't know why... Oh, I guess because he's a machine. Well, I don't know, because we battled Marks early in the game, and his name was in like the foreign language, not the foreign, like the native language, whereas this is in English. So I'm not really sure why, like what changed over the course of the first, basically the first chapter to now. But this is a pretty simple boss. I mean, he's big, he's imposing, he will hit hard, so keep that in mind. But if you take out all of his little turrets, you'll see the little circles on the back of the tank here near the wrecking ball. You take out the little turret guys, and he can't really do much to you. He starts to break down. As you see, he can't move, so now you're just wailing away on him until he explodes. And here we are presented with our next object of interest, the machine core. which I know that there's someone in the game who uses them, and you can get different items and weapons from him for machine cores, but we won't meet him for a little while. You can sell them though, and that's basically what you want to do, because they're worth a lot, and if you need the money you can, but you can hang on to them until you meet that character, because I think the reason why you want to sell them to him is because he buys them for more than the regular shops would. Like every shop, I think it's like 60,000 or something, they'll pay for the machine cores, but one character in particular will like double that or something. So, but that's the other thing, because you get money, get on the thing, come on 9S, nope, you're gone, and then he just kind of phases in. But I'm never really hurting for money in this game, despite the fact that, like, well, not despite the fact, like, you need money to buy weapons, yes, but you're never really hurting for it because you get money from every battle, like just every single battle. The dropped little tokens, like the stuff I just picked up, you get money, and it might not be a lot, but the amount of machines you'll fight, you'll probably be fine. If you have to grind, it's not that hard to kill a lot of the mass little guys just to pick up some money. But I like this scene. He's trying to get her to call him by a nickname, and she's like, "I'm good, bro." I will say I like this, how it's circling the entirety of the amusement park. You see like the mountains in the background, you see the other attractions, you see the big castle, so it's kind of neat. It puts things in perspective, and how, I mean, like that Ferris wheel is just tilted. I'd love to know how that happened. Was it during the war, or what? I don't know. And then you have the fireworks that are still going off, like the machines are setting them off. It's kind of fascinating to me. And here we go, our next major fight, so to speak. This boss is kind of creepy, I won't lie about it. I believe her name is Carmen? What's her name? No, I want to call her Carmen because that's what, her name is Beauvoir. I want to call her Carmen because she reminds me of Carmen from Persona 5, or no, she reminds me of Milady, that's who it is. Carmen is An's persona, and Milady is Haru's, spoiler alert. She's level 15, she is kind of meaty in terms of your attacks don't do a whole lot of damage unless you've been grinding, so this boss will take pretty much the remainder of this episode, 8 minutes. Luckily, it's not actually that difficult. Well, okay, if you have healing items, you'll be fine, because she will kind of catch you off guard with her mass, like lasers, if you're not running at that moment in time. And then like the bouncy orbs, those can be kind of hard to dodge. But this stuff is like, oh, simple. If you look at my Amy Rose final boss, Sonic Adventure, it's jump rope. It's jump rope all over again. So we've done like maybe a 7th or so of her health at this point. And it's really just wash, rinse, repeat. She does have a second phase, which we'll get to that eventually, but this first part, it's really like, just keep running, use your pod, pretty much don't take your finger off of R1, and then when she stops, feel free to, wail on her, and keep an eye out for the lasers. Also, if you do like I did, and you go back to like collect your body before this, you'll get a whole bunch of healing items, which is really cool, because then you don't have to purchase stuff. You won't have to purchase potions and whatnot beforehand, so you can just, come in here fully stocked. But I really do like this boss music. I'll have to see if they have different boss music, because this one sounds familiar, like we've heard it, but it almost has like, the singing is almost very surreal and tribally, but it's not explicitly tribally, but it's almost like the sound you hear from a sacrifice that's going on, or I don't know how to describe it, but I love the vocals. It's almost really melancholy too. Like, we're doing all this not killing per se because they're machines, but we're defeating all these machines, and it's like we have a purpose in doing it, but it's almost like we're not getting any gratification from doing it. We're just doing it because we're instructed to do so. So this is her second phase. She it introduced us to the hacking system of this game. Basically, you get to fly around a little ship. This is the second type of gameplay, and your goal is to destroy the black balls, the black orbs on screen. And so she was just trying to hack us, and that's why we had to go into like our mainframe or whatever and not get hacked or unhack ourselves. You'll see the bodies of Yura, soldiers hanging from her hair and whatnot, which is this was creepy. Like the distortion effect on her voice and like the screen is really creepy. But these are the signals we were getting, the black box signals. She was keeping them alive with her own power, which is kind of creepy, and especially when you see the actual body of the android and the fact that they all look the same, even though they have different hairstyles or they have different personalities after a while. It's kind of sad because it's like they're just mass produced, even though they're not, even though they take on like human tendencies. But yeah, these guys, they will attack you. You'll see, I don't know if it's this phase or if it's another phase, but they will start shooting stuff at you, and they will explode as well. Here we go. So you get the little ringlets that attack you, and I mean, they're not that hard to dodge, but if you just keep fighting them, they'll, you'll clear the battlefield, so to speak, because we haven't completely finished off the fight with Beauvoir. So the fewer of those that you have on field, the easier the time you'll have. So kind of self-explanatory though. Yeah, like I just wanted to pull up for comparison's sake the wiki. Alright, so sorry, let me get into this first. Hacking. It's really quick here because it's not a big part of the gameplay. Later in the game we will definitely get into hacking. It'll be a major part of the gameplay. But you'll have different patterns that you can have. The black ball will spin around in different ways. It'll shoot off different types of energy too. So similar to these orbs where the bluish purple ones you can destroy and the solid purple ones you can't destroy, when it shoots off purple lasers in the hacking minigame, you can't destroy those, but you can destroy the orange ones. I believe that's how that works. So a lot of times you have to try to find like a path to the black orb through the orange, because you can just slice through those as opposed to trying to dodge all the purple ones. So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I like hacking. It's a neat kind of refresh during a lot of main combat throughout the game. You get to do something a little different with like shooting mechanics, and I think that's really neat. It's refreshing, like I said. But yeah, I'm looking at the wiki for this game and for this boss in particular, and it's not finished. It goes, the first part of the battle has a strategy, and then the second part just says detailed strategy goes here, which is fine. I mean, I don't really need strategies. I didn't use a walkthrough the first time I played this game. I don't think you really need to, because a lot of it's self-explanatory. The combat's really, it's not, well, it's simple, and it's like if you just don't get hit, you're good. A lot of the weak points on bosses are pretty easily identifiable, but it's just kind of sad because I'm like, if I wanted to see the strategy and I wanted to see all the extra details and trivia about the game, the fact that it's not done, it's like, dang. But then again, now I'm thinking maybe I should just go and fill it in myself. But there you go, Beauvoir is defeated. The pile of rubble is definitely a lot smaller than what she was. I didn't even mention, you saw the little scene of the guy and Beauvoir, and that'll come into play a little bit later. It's almost like we get to see some of her memories, which is kind of a theme throughout the game. But here you can pick up some of the things that are some of the fallen, whatchamacallit, little trash loot, I guess. But yeah, like 9S is saying, they were only being kept alive by her power, so you can't save these guys, which is really kind of sad because they're just strewn here. And it's like their last moments were being controlled by some devilish harpy. And what did we just get? Oh, I completely missed it. Why did I equip that? I don't know. What did we get? Melee defense? Okay. Oh, okay, I think I was making like a quote-unquote defense paradigm. I mean, it'll get better as I get more plug-in chips later in the game, but I think that's what I wanted to make.
なんだか不思議なことを言ってました。まるで感情が。
機械生命体に意識なんかない。そう言ったのはあなたよ。9S。
そうですね。
Okay, and we can leave. I think I am going to turn around. Yeah, I go back here because I wanted to show off. There's an elevator back here, and I was thinking about going into it, but you actually have to come back here for a side mission, so I might do that later. And I also wasn't sure if the enemies would be super powerful, because there are enemies down there. So we'll probably come back. There's a treasure chest in here, which again, we'll see how to open those later in the game. And I think there is some. No, there's no item. There's one, like, trash item over there. I always think there's a, whatchamacallit back there. Treasure chest. But here we are, the end of the episode. Thank you very much for watching. In next episode, we will see what this enemy with a white flag has in store for us. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day.